1:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news, edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Indrani Senanayake. The headlines. New member and increased powers for Presidential Commission on Electoral Reforms. The President says that 600 acres of land has been allocated in the Upper Kotmale Reservoir to establish the International Climatic Change University. Parliament will meet from the 7th to the 10th of this month. Sri Lanka is said to receive medical aid worth over $1 million from Bangladesh. The government says it cannot provide privileges to only a limited group of people. In foreign news, Israel says its troops have encircled the Gaza city. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has appointed a new member to the Presidential Commission of Inquiry set up to prepare proposals for electoral reform while expanding the scope of mandate of the panel. This was announced in a special Gazette notification published by Presidential Secretary Saman Ekanaika yesterday. As such, Alan Carmichael Vere-David has been appointed as the 10th member of the PCOI, as it was observed that the number of commissioners holding office is not adequate to execute the functions of the Commission more efficiently and speedily. Further, President Wickremesinghe has increased the powers of the PCOI after identifying the necessity to expand the scope of the mandate of the Commission. In addition to the initially assigned duties and functions, the PCOI members are now also tasked with making recommendations including proposed legislation on the following factors: strengthening the multi-party system of the Sri Lanka based on credible and stable political parties similar to other multi-party democracies. President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that 600 acres of land has been allocated in the Upper Kotmale Reservoir to establish the International Climate Change University. Sri Lanka is taking measures to transform the system into a green one in relation to climatic change. He made these remarks while participating at the inaugural summit of the International Climatic Change held at Temple Trees yesterday. The summit ended today. The economic development will be based on digitalization and the green system. The government hopes this matter with all political party leaders after the budget. Secretary General of Parliament Kushani Rohanadira says that the Parliament will meet from the 7th to the 10th of this month. The President will submit the appropriation bill for the financial year 2024 as the Finance Minister at 12 noon on the 13th of this month. She also said that the second reading of the bill will be held at 6 p.m. on the 21st. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. We continue with local news. Sri Lanka is said to receive medical aid worth over $1 million from Bangladesh. The Health Ministry said accordingly medicines worth $58,000 will be delivered next week. This was revealed in a recent meeting between Health Minister Dr. Ramesh Patirana and Bangladesh High Commission in Sri Lanka, Tariq MD Ariful Islam. The High Commissioner revealed that the aid includes 54 types of essential medicines, particularly those for cancer and kidney treatments. UNP parliamentarian Vajira Abewardena says that the government cannot provide privileges to a limited group of people while putting the rest of the public in difficulty. It is the duty of the trade union representatives to submit proposals needed to rebuild the country, providing equal opportunities for all. Priority should be given to stabilize the economy. Participating in the Subharati program of the SLBC, he said that the public should inquire about the ability of the candidates who can maintain the stability of the country and contest any election. That ends the local segment of news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
Chairman of the State Printing Corporation, Nimal Bandara, says that exercise books will be provided to school children at 30% discount. This discount can be taken from the main office of the corporation or retail outlets under the recommendation of school principals. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatmya.
We now take a look at Watchlight. It has been reported that the traditional clay pot industry is decaying. The demand for clay pot products has declined due to many imported kitchen utensils being imported to the local market. Therefore, the industrialists engaged in this industry have requested the relevant authorities to take measures to safeguard the industry. This is for the attention of the Minister of Rural Industry and came to you in Watchlight. We now take a look at world news. First, the headlines. Israel says its troops have encircled the Gaza city. Delhi air pollution. Schools shut as air quality turns severe. Australia and China eye new ways to heal old wounds. Israel's military says it has completed the encirclement of the Gaza city and has been attacking outposts, headquarters and other Hamas infrastructure. Israel has announced the deaths of 4 more soldiers fighting in the ground offensive, bringing the reported toll to 23. The UN says 20 people were killed at a school and 4 shelters were damaged in the Gaza Strip. Israel has carried out thousands of air artillery strikes in Gaza since the 7th of October. Israel began its operation after Hamas killed more than 1,400 people in Israel and kidnapped more than 200 others. The military says it's targeting Hamas infrastructure, including tunnels and rocket launchers, and is minimizing civilian deaths. Authorities in the Indian capital Delhi have shut all primary schools for 2 days amid worsening levels of air pollution. Air quality in the city dropped to severe levels for the first time this season yesterday. It is expected to deteriorate further in the next 2 weeks, scientists say. Delhi's Environment Minister has called an emergency meeting to review the situation. The capital is one of the world's most polluted cities. Delhi's air turns especially toxic in winter due to various factors, including burning of crop remains by farmers, low wind speeds, and bursting of firecrackers during festivals. When Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Saturday, he will be the first Australian leader to visit China in 7 years. It ends a hiatus triggered by a string of prickly disputes, including various Chinese sanctions on Australian goods and back-and-forth accusations of foreign interference. Now both sides have renewed ambitions and have cleared the way for the visit with a series of gestures, experts say. Last month, China announced a surprise release of Chinese-Australian journalist Cheng Li, who was detained for over 3 years on national security charges. It has also said it will review its tariffs on Australian exports. To end this bulletin of world news, headlines again. Israel says its troops have encircled the Gaza city. Delhi air pollution, schools shut as air quality turns severe. Australia and China eye new ways to heal old wounds. That ends this bulletin of world news.
Development news.
The Hambantota Ratna Kattakadwa Weber will be renovated. 2 million rupees will be spent in this regard. Water supply will be provided to 500 acres of paddy lands. The project is being initiated by the Department of Irrigation, and that was development news.
Moving on with sports news.
The Day-Night World Cricket Championship match between Afghanistan and the Netherlands will be played in Lucknow today. The match will begin at 2 p.m. That was sports news.
Go ekaktiana youth ekat life eke change ekat niyameta set wenna as wahagena dekapu hina habe karanna youth ekat niyameta set wenna friendship eka menna.
The all-new NSB Itru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The support of IESC of the United States will be provided to enhance the dairy farming industry in the country. They also agreed to provide necessary technological know-how and financial assistance to increase the dairy farming industry. That was Business News.
Business News, Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු හින හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru Mithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
We now take a look at economic news. A branch of the Indian State Bank has been opened in Trincomalee. The 11th and 12th oil tanks of the IOC oil terminal was also opened yesterday by the Indian Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. That was economic news.
Weather report.
And finally, we take a look at the weather report. The prevailing showery weather condition is expected to enhance today. Showers or thunder showers will occur over most places over the island after 1 p.m. Heavy showers of about 100 millimeters are likely at some places in the Sabragama, Central Uva and the North Central provinces and in the Puttalam and Mannar districts. Fairly heavy showers of about 50 millimeters are likely at some places elsewhere. Showers will occur in the Eastern Province and in the Jaffna and Mullaitivu districts during the morning hours. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the Sabragama, Central and Uva provinces during the morning hours. To end this afternoon's news broadcast, we take a look at the headlines again. A new member and increased powers for Presidential Commission on Electoral Reforms. The President says that 600 acres of land has been allocated in the Upper Kotmale Reservoir to establish the International Climatic Change University. Parliament will meet from the 7th to the 10th of this month. Sri Lanka is set to receive medical aid worth over $1 million from Bangladesh. The government says it cannot provide privileges to only a limited group of people. In world news, Israel says its troops have encircled the Gaza city. That ends this afternoon's news broadcast. This is Radio Sri Lanka. And this is where I hand over the microphone to your friend and mine, GR. Well, I like to call her GR, shortened form for Geetanjali Ramanayaka. Very good afternoon to you, Geetanjali.
Very good afternoon to you, Indrani.
And we say a very good afternoon to every single one of you tuned in. Well, you're in very good company until 4 o'clock this afternoon. So Geetanjali is at the helm, and of course, she looks like the captain of the ship, headphones and all at the ready. So you're going to be in good company. And of course, for those of you who are sitting down to have your lunch, well, we have music for you in the background.